and BK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, you all know the story already. Knicks took a loss last night to the OKC Thunder after leading just about the entire game. Ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks were playing very, very well. For most of the basketball game, the Knicks were playing very, very well. And then they give it up in the fourth quarter. Bad fourth quarter for the New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. It's throughout most of this basketball game, I'm looking and I'm saying, wow, this team is truly a contender. And then the fourth quarter happens. Several things happen in the fourth quarter, and I think I just saw Sean Richardson in the chat say, Thibodeau has got to be stopped. And the phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen, 516-362-5212. You can give me a call. Say, Thibodeau has got to be stopped. And I'm assuming, Sean, you're talking about the bench. And you're talking about the lack of substitutions. And yes, the New York Knicks played their starters. Tom Thibodeau played his starters a lot of minutes last night. Josh Hart, 44 minutes. OG Anunoby, 42 minutes and 32 seconds. Karl Anthony Towns, 42 minutes. Mikal Bridges, 40 minutes. Jalen Brunson, 40 minutes. Landry Shamet did get 14 minutes last night. Campaign 7. Precious Achiuwa 7. And I know that's a big issue for a lot of people here in this chat, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk about the game itself. And then we can get into that because, in my opinion, the Knicks need bench help to contend. There's a reason, in my opinion, that the starters get played so many minutes. We'll talk about that. And I know you guys are going to say Simmons the Tibbs apologist and so on and so forth. I'm not. There's a lot of things that I wish Tom Thibodeau would do that he doesn't do, that I complain about, that I'm critical of him about. I'd like for him to play zone. I don't think he does good in-game adjustments. Those are the two biggest issues that I have with Tom Thibodeau. A lot of people have issues with the way that he plays the starters on this particular basketball team, but I just feel there's a reason for that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the game. The New York Knicks played well for most of the game. I mean, they were shooting the ball well. Like 60% for a good portion of the game. They took advantage of their strength, which was inside, for a good portion of the game. But I felt like in the fourth quarter, I personally felt like Jalen Brunson hijacked the offense down the stretch of that basketball game. I felt like it was shot after shot after shot, Jalen Brunson. He took 9 shots in the fourth quarter, Jalen Brunson did. Karl Anthony Towns took 2. Now, Cat played 12 minutes in that fourth quarter. Picked up 1 personal foul in the fourth quarter. All right. For the game, Cat had 4 fouls. All right, so we had 4 there in the fourth quarter. You still got 2 fouls to go. And I'm not exactly sure at what point in time he picked up that foul in the fourth quarter. What time was left on the clock. But in my opinion, there's no way that Karl Anthony Towns only gets 2 shots in the fourth quarter. Doesn't matter to me what time he picked up that 4th foul. If he picked it up at 2 seconds into the fourth quarter, he had 2 fouls to go. But he played the entire fourth quarter. He didn't touch the ball, just twice. To me, that's not good. Because our strength, the strength of this basketball team against OKC was inside. Inside. That was the strength of this team versus OKC. And instead, Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, hijacked the offense. I was asked a couple of shows ago whether I thought Jalen Brunson would, try to prove Isaiah Hartenstein wrong, about SGA being a better scorer, this, that, and the third. I don't think that was the issue. I just think Jalen Brunson felt like he had to take it upon himself. And that's not the case. That's not the way this basketball team is built. That's not the way this basketball team is built. This team is built to play a team-oriented game. And I felt that Jalen Brunson tried to take it upon himself last night. Kevin said between Tibbs and Brunson, they should have fed Cat. They couldn't stop him. 100%. There is no excuse. There is no reason that Cat only takes 2 shots in the fourth quarter. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute in my brain. Tom Thibodeau should have called his number. Jalen Brunson should have gave up the rock. Sean said the blame goes 100% to the coach. If you want to blame the coach for not, I don't want to say force feeding, but for not calling Cat's number in the fourth quarter, I'm with you 100%. Because that should have been done. I'm with you 100%. Karl Anthony Towns, for the most part, had Jalen Williams on him. He could score over top of him at any time. Okay, the double team might have came. And if the double team comes, you kick it out. Right? But instead, Jalen Brunson's trying to go off the dribble. Jalen Brunson's shooting threes. I was just listening to the Queen's Court not too long ago, and I heard Steph say that she thought, not the Queen's Court, I'm sorry, Dope Soul Sports Talk. She's on right now. I was just listening to Dope Soul, and Steph said that she thought the next step for Brunson was not to get more assists or not to score more points, but to get a good feel of the basketball game. And I don't know if I was getting this set up, but I don't know if she was alluding to last night when she made that statement, but it makes sense if she was alluding to last night because Brunson didn't have a feel for the game in that fourth quarter. Because like I just seen, who just said it in the chat, that Bridges was also hot. Bridges was burning up in the first half. Mikal Bridges takes 3 shots in the fourth quarter. For the game, ladies and gentlemen, Mikal Bridges had 24 points for the game. He had 19 in the first half. Jalen Brunson ends up shooting 23 shots last night. And I like Brunson, my favorite player on the team. But he ends up shooting 23 shots last night. And he was only 9 for 23. 9 of those shots came in the fourth quarter. A feel for the game. Yeah, you got to understand who's hot and who's not. Where are the mismatches? OG Anunoby was 7 for 13. Josh Hart was 8 for 15. These guys were shooting high percentages from the field. This is when Jalen Brunson has to say, okay, Brunson had 9 assists last night. Should have had 15. Should have had 16. Because he should have been giving the rock up to these guys in the fourth quarter. Now, OKC is a good defensive team, a smart defensive team. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they're going to try to lock down the guys who are having good nights because they're a good basketball team. They're well coached. It's what they do. But, and this is where Tom Thibodeau has got to be able to make those in-game adjustments, right? If OKC is doing something specific to take away Karl Anthony Towns, well, then you got to figure out, how do I get Cat free? Or Mikal Bridges. How do I get Mikal Bridges free? If they're doubling Karl Anthony Towns in the post, what do we do next? Right? How do we combat that? Tom Thibodeau's the type of coach where he's got to look at it on video and then come back the next game for it. That's one of the biggest issues with me with Tom Thibodeau as well as zone. You guys all know that. You know what I'm saying? You guys all know that. The Knicks up 14, ladies and gentlemen. It gave the game away. Some people are going to say the guys were tired. I think the guys are well conditioned. Now would they be tired tonight? Maybe. Got to fly from OKC to Chicago, and we'll see how tired they might be tonight. Yes, I do agree tonight. Tom Thibodeau should play more of his bench and for longer minutes. 100%. I agree with Sean. I agree with whoever else should play the bench more minutes tonight. Although our bench is, I don't care what nobody says, we don't have a strong bench. I'm sorry. We don't. You know what I mean? Our bench is not that good. You can play them 30 minutes if you want to. You can play them 25, 20 minutes if you want to. You're not going to get the type of production that we think we're going to get. We'll get to that. Karl Anthony Towns, man, 17 points last night, 22 rebounds. In the first half, he wasn't really he wasn't featured as much because Mikal Bridges was hot. But when he did get the ball in the post, he couldn't be stopped. He dominated in post when he got the ball in the post. He didn't get the ball enough. 13 shots was not enough for Karl Anthony Towns last night. It had been proven against Milwaukee, and against other teams that OKC is small, and especially with Chet Holmgren being out, that OKC is small, and if you want to beat them, you use your size against them. You know what I mean? So listen, I'm going to agree with Sean and others that last night, and I'm not even talking about the minutes, I'm just talking about adjustments and getting the ball to Cat, to Bridges, more to OG in the fourth quarter. That was an issue with Tom Thibodeau and with Brunson, right? Brunson started, hijacking the game, and Tom Thibodeau allowed it. I have no arguments with anyone about that. No doubt about it. You know what I mean? And I hope that Brunson sees that and understands it. You don't have to be the star. You don't have to be this is not last year. Right? Last year, you had Julius Randle, who hadn't really shown that he could come through in the clutch. So you had to do that, and then Randle was out, so you had to do that. You didn't have to do it last night. Had other guys that were already hot. Other guys that had better matchups. You know what I'm saying? You had a tough defender on you in Lou Dort, sometimes SGA. And OKC is a tough defensive team, but we had mismatches, and we did not exploit those mismatches. In the fourth quarter, we didn't. You know what I mean? That's, hopefully it's something that we learn. You go through wins and losses. You go through experiences, and you start to learn what your team needs and how to capitalize on mismatches and the strengths of your basketball team. You know what I mean? So hopefully we learned something last night, because for most of this game, we were the better team. And then we proved that we were not the better team in the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? It's something that this team we got to learn how to do that if we want to be a championship contending team. So the Knicks lose 117 to 107 to OKC. I'm looking forward to game number 2. That'll be at the Garden. You know what I'm saying? And to see if we learn something, and to see if we can, for most of the game, the number 1 defense in the league could not handle one of the best offenses in the league, if not the best offense in the league. If we do that for 4 quarters, we win the game. Chet Holmgren or not. If we do that for 4 quarters, we win. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I'm looking forward to seeing in the next game that we play OKC. Now, and I know some people are burning to talk about it. You know what I mean? You're burning to talk about it. I dig it. I get it. Bench help, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks need bench help. Deuce was out last night. When Deuce gives you, a good 10, 12 points or whatever it is off the bench, he's a defensive demon. He's a monster. He definitely boosts the bench. Campaign sometimes can give you something. Other nights not. He's going to be up and down all the time. Landry, we're still waiting for him to get comfortable. We need bench help. When Deuce comes back, he'll be there, but I'm sorry. I know people say, well, we don't play the bench enough. If you have hoopers, they're going to play. You know what I mean? If you have hoopers, they're going to play. That's just my opinion of it. And you may disagree with me. OKC, they got hoopers on the bench. For the most part, OKC had 3 guys that really played off the bench. The Knicks only had 1 guy that really played off the bench. OKC, Isaiah Joe played 14 minutes. IJ Mitchell played 13 minutes, and Aaron Wiggins played 24 minutes. The other guys played 7 minutes, 8 minutes. The Knicks only had 1 guy that played like 14 minutes. If Deuce was there, he would have played 20 minutes. The Knicks need another guy. Just like OKC has 3 guys that played, double-digit minutes. 2 guys played single-digit minutes. Because that's the level of who they are. The Knicks need another guy that can play double-digit minutes. Landry Shamet played 14. Deuce would have played his 20 minutes. We need another guy that is an impact player. I'm sorry. Precious. I think the biggest issue with Precious last night was that he did not provide the size mismatch that Karl Anthony Towns did. Right? Karl Anthony Towns provided last night a mismatch inside. Precious didn't. So, if you were going to use Precious in another way, it would have had to have been for Bridges or OG Anunoby. And maybe Tom Thibodeau could have done that. Right now, he uses him primarily as a backup center for Cat. Cat had to play minutes last night because we had a size mismatch. We didn't use it in the 4th quarter, but we had a size mismatch. He's the best rebounder on the basketball team, maybe in the league. No, not maybe in the league, in the league. Right? Karl Anthony Towns, 22 rebounds again last night. You know what I mean? Now, Precious provide you with some rebound. He had 5 rebounds last night in his 7 minutes. That's production. That's production. If there's anyone that I would have said maybe could have played more as Precious, because you can use Precious. You can put Precious out there with Cat to play in lieu of OG Anunoby, give OG a breather. I agree with you. I agree. You can use Precious in different ways. Right now, Tom Thibodeau's only using him at the center position. Right? Only using him at the center position when you can use him in at least 3 positions on this basketball team. At least 2 positions. I'll say that. You're not going to put him at the 3 spot. You're not going to put him at the 3 because he's not that kind of a scorer or shooter. But you can put OG at the 3 or the 4, And you can put pressures at the 5 or the 4, right? So that does allow you a little bit of flexibility to be able to, give him a breather for OG, give him a breather for Karl Anthony Towns. I will definitely agree with you there. But for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, if the Knicks are going to be a contender, the Knicks are going to contend. We're going to need a 6-man that can come in and get you buckets. We need one. We need one. You know what I mean? I don't know where we get this player. I don't know who this player is. I seen somebody yesterday. I seen somewhere say maybe the Knicks should try to make a move for Alec Burks. What do y'all think about that? That's a Tom Thibodeau favorite. He makes $2 million this year. He could be a guard that can help off the bench. I don't know. I want someone that's a little bit more lightning off the bench. I like Alec Burks. You know what I mean? And he's a guy that can, play 2 or 3 positions from the 1 to the 2 to the 3. But I'd rather somebody else. Like Kevin said, we've seen Alec Burks twice. No real reason to, unless that's all we can afford, but no real reason to bring Alec Burks back. I would much rather try to find somebody else. But we need that guy that, and Alec Burks is up and down too at this point. Sean said Jordan Clarkson. I would love Jordan Clarkson. I would love Jordan Clarkson on this basketball team. He'd be the perfect guy coming off the bench. I don't know how much money he makes. So right now we're just talking. But if the Knicks are going to be a contender, we need bench help. And for those who don't like the way Tom Thibodeau uses the bench, that guy has to play. But it's my feeling that if you bring in a guy like Jordan Clarkson, he's going to get burned off the bench. Right? If Dante DiVincenzo was on this team, he's going to get burned off the bench. You know what I mean? That's just how I see it. Shot France said, Deuce is our bench help right now. Shot France said, Deuce is our 6th man. Y'all wilding right now. He's missed the past few games, but Deuce does his thing. I'm not saying he doesn't. We need more than Deuce, though. Like OKC last night had 3 guys off the bench who played double-digit minutes. The Knicks had 1. If Deuce was there, he would have been another. We need a 3rd guy that can play double-digit minutes. You know what I'm saying? A 3rd guy that can come off the bench and produce. Now, I see this right here. R says, nah, bro, Hart is our 6th man. This is something I definitely agree with. I feel like the way that you can capitalize on this roster with the way that it is by putting Precious in the starting lineup over Josh Hart. Right? You put Precious in the starting lineup. You play beside Karl Anthony Towns. You get more shot blocking in that lineup. You get more rebounding in that lineup. You keep the level of defense in that lineup. And then you bring Josh Hart off the bench. Now you got Deuce and Josh Hart coming off the bench. You got Campaign coming off the bench. Then you got Shamet coming off the bench. And then you use Huck Porty. Maybe. Right? So that you still have some size coming off the bench. Right now, I know Tom Thibodeau is worried about having size coming off the bench. And if you put Josh Hart on the bench, you don't have size coming off the bench, right? So you have nobody backing up Cat. But you can still shuffle the lineups a little bit so that Precious plays with the 2nd unit as the backup center. You know what I mean? And you can basically use the lineups that you already use, but now you're bringing a real impact guy off the bench with Deuce. Another impact guy off the bench with Deuce. You know what I mean? I don't know, but we need bench help. Big time. We need bench help. And I don't think this team is a championship contender if we don't have bench help. That's that. I don't think we're a championship contender if we don't get bench help. You know what I mean? Fred Wong, thank you for the super chat. I definitely appreciate you for the super chat. You said, I know Brunson is our guy, but when a team is cooking, flowing, when he's on the bench, Tibbs has to learn to stay with what's working. I definitely agree. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen him do it a couple of times with Brunson, with Deuce, down the stretch of the game. But he's itching to get Brunson back out there on the floor. You know what I mean? But I definitely agree. We've seen at least twice this season where Tibbs stalled bringing Brunson back in the game in lieu of Deuce because Deuce was, playing defense and giving you some of those things that the team desperately needs. You know what I'm saying? Which was defense at those point in times. Now, we're talking about guys that we need. And ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a short show. And also, I do want to let you know I'm not going to be on after the game tonight, but I'll be on tomorrow about this time again. All right. I just have some other obligations that are preventing me from being able to get on tonight after the game. Last night I was on the road. Tonight I have other obligations, but I will be on tomorrow around this time to talk some more. But how will the Knicks improve the bench? I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, the likely guy is going to be Mitchell Robinson, right? Right now Mitchell Robinson is injured. He's been injured all season long, and the Knicks are doing what they're doing. They've been on a 9-game win streak. They're 13 games above 500 without Mitchell Robinson. Does Mitchell Robinson make the team that much better? I don't know, to be honest with you, because we haven't seen it. Not exactly sure if he would make the team that much better. Would he add to the defense? He would. Are you playing Precious and Mitch together? No. Nah, you're not playing them together. So this would mean that in order to maximize Mitchell Robinson, right? In order to maximize Mitchell Robinson, you've got to, again, start Precious, because now you'll have another big. You got to start Precious, let Josh Hart come off the bench, and then you got Mitchell Robinson as another big. Now that definitely changes what things look like. You get way more off the bench at that point. And maybe that's what Tom Thibodeau's waiting for. I don't know. But if you're going to keep Josh Hart in the starting lineup and you got Precious coming off the bench to back up Karl Anthony Towns, how much is that going to improve the bench? Unless you're saying that Mitch is that much more of a defender than Precious, and I'm just not sure about that. You know what I mean? I got my man, who we got? Nick from Jersey on the line. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
How you doing, Sim? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Doing pretty good. Just trying to figure out how we improve the bench, because we need.
Yeah, I was. I don't know. I kind of agree with you on Mitch. I think I think he changes it a lot. Just that if the bench can be a plus, if the bench can maintain a lead or even build a lead, we're going to be set. And, a lot of times when Robinson's on the floor, the Knicks are a plus instead of a plus minus.
Right. The thing is,
yeah, go ahead.
If Mitch is going to come off the bench, if Mitch is going to come off the bench, you can't have him playing with Precious. To me, that means Precious has to go into that starting lineup at the power forward spot, playing next to Cat, and Josh Hart off the bench. That gives you a strong bench. Now you got Deuce, you got Josh Hart, and you got Mitch, and you got Campaign, and you got Shaman. That gives you a well-rounded bench, right? Because Shaman is 6'5". He'd be a small three, but a three nonetheless. Josh Hart can play the 4. He's small, but we know what Josh Hart can do. Then you got Deuce, and you got Campaign, right? I think that would give you a strong bench.
That's exactly what I would do, and that's what I think they'll end up doing eventually.
But
if they don't make a trade.
If they don't make a trade, right? February 8th is the trade deadline. A little more than a month away. But if Tom Thibodeau, I mean, we're 35 games into the season. By the time Mitch comes back, we'll be more than halfway through the season. Does he make a change to the starting lineup? Would it be smart to make a change to the starting lineup?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it depends on if we're, I don't even want to say it, but if they're on a losing streak, he's more likely to make a change if the team's not playing well.
Right.
If the team is continuing to play well, especially that starting unit with Hart out there, because I was saying let's put Hart off the bench in the preseason because he was struggling, and I thought maybe you need Precious out there, but then Precious got hurt in the preseason, and then Hart started playing the best ball of his career, and he's kind of like a facilitator out there with the other four guys, So, obviously Hart's going to be still playing major minutes even if he does come off the bench, and he'll probably be closing a lot of those games. So it's really not the end all be all whether or not he comes off the bench or starts. But let's say they continue to start the same starting five,
right? And
Mitchell Robinson comes back. I think because Thibodeau, right now the starters have been playing a lot of minutes, and it's not sustainable in February, March, April, right? I think what they're going to do is, for the first time in 2.5 years or so, Thibodeau is going to go back to a 10-man rotation. He's going to go from, right now he's playing 8 because we only got 8 healthy guys. But once we get that 9th guy back, or the 10th guy back will be Mitch, I think you might see, you said you can't play Mitch and Precious. I think you might see that, because then you're going to have, and he's been saying it all year, he likes Shamet at the 3, Deuce at the 2, Cam at the point, which is very small, very fast, very quick.
Right.
And I think that might work if you got the 2 bigs out there. It kind of offsets, the speed of those 3 guys might make it possible, the lack of spacing and whatnot, to have Mitch and Precious out there as well. And if that doesn't work out, then maybe you might see a switch.
Okay.
But again, this is probably only going to be for February, March, April. And then once you get to the playoffs, he's probably going to go down to an 8-man rotation.
Right.
And, or even a 7. And Mitch, assuming everybody's healthy, Mitch and Deuce are going to be the main guys off the bench. But I'm with you. I like the idea of starting Precious at the 4 and putting Hart back on the bench. I think it basically solves all our problems. Everybody says we need to trade for a wing off the bench. It's like, that's Josh Hart right there.
Yeah,
put him on the bench.
Yeah, I think that solves a lot of problems, because I don't think you're going to miss much with Precious. As a matter of fact, I think you open it up for Bridges and OG to get a few more shots in that starting lineup. Right. And I'm not saying anything bad about Josh Hart. I think it just opens it up, and it opens it up for Josh Hart to really dominate off the bench.
For sure. And it also makes OG Anunoby, it kind of, puts him back in his natural position, which is guarding threes.
Right.
He doesn't have to bang with bigs anymore, consistently every night. I mean, he'll still be playing plenty of minutes at the 4, but right now he's only playing minutes at the 4.
Yeah.
So if you started him at the 3, and him and Precious have a great thing going too when they're on the floor together. The Knicks are always, in a plus on the plus minus side. Like they have very good defensive chemistry. So I like that idea.
And I think that's the best way to improve the bench right now. Right? To me, that's the best way to improve the bench right now. The Knicks don't have, unless you trade Mitch, the Knicks don't have a ton of ways to bring an impact player back, to bring an impact player to the bench. But this is a way, because I don't think the starting lineup loses anything with scoring if you put Precious in there, because on any given night, one of those guys, when 4 of them got it going, one guy, has to facilitate. 3 of them got it going, someone has to facilitate. So now I think it just opens up the room for more Bridges, more OG. You know what I'm saying? To get more touches and be able to score the basketball, because they can do that at same or higher rate than Josh Hart. And then Josh Hart off the bench, I think it solves everything, because now, if Shamit's going to get double-digit minutes like he did last night, Deuce will get double-digit minutes off the bench. Josh Hart is going to get double-digit minutes off the bench. You know what I mean? This opens the room for Precious to get double-digit minutes still, right?
Yep.
Because, he'll be a starter. He's going to get at least 10 to 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think it definitely, that's how you improve the bench right now. Because even if you put Precious in the starting lineup now and Josh Hart off the bench, you can still use Precious at the backup center spot to help him get a few extra minutes. So now he's getting minutes at the 4, some minutes at the backup 5, and you bring an impact guy, 2 impact guys off the bench, and Deuce and Josh Hart. I think that's the answer right now.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
We got the depth, and we're not using it. And I don't think it's because Tibbs doesn't want to. I think it's just kind of the way things are with the team right now. Deuce is banged up. The starting 5 is playing, amazing. Deuce is not playing that great because he's not doing well. Mitch is still not hurt. Precious has only been back for about 10 games or so. Shamit's only been back for about 6 games. And I just think things are going to round out, and it might involve exactly what you said, because that's like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, without having to send anybody out.
Yeah.
We would add Josh Hart to the bench, and we're adding Mitchell Robinson to the bench as well, without having to send anybody out. I think that's pretty good. And I think you would see that bench really shine with, Mitch, Hart, Shamit, and then, either Deuce or Payne or Deuce and Payne,
Yeah, no doubt. But Nick, I appreciate the time, man.
But,
I wish I had. Oh, did you have something else?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, I don't know what who people are looking to trade for. We need a backup big, and we got one. It's just the question is, can we depend on him being healthy?
Yeah.
And if we can't, are we trading him at his lowest value? And if so, for who? Who's going to come in and for $12 to $14 million a year? And be, an elite rebounder and elite rim protector in exchange for Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I mean, according to Ian Begley, teams have been inquiring about Mitch. So that there's interest there from other teams. Now, naturally there would be, but like you said, would we be trading him at his lowest value? I don't know, but we'll see how it goes, man. Nick, I appreciate your time, bro.
Take care.
Bye. Have a good one. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see how that turns out. But the Knicks lose last night, 117 to 107, and they play the Chicago Bulls tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And Derrick Rose is going to have his jersey retired tonight in Chicago. So it's fitting that Tom Thibodeau is in the building. You know what I mean? And listen, the last time the Knicks played the Bulls, the Knicks weren't as good of a basketball team. They're a much better basketball team now, right? They just, they lost to OKC, which is one of the top 2 teams in the league record-wise. They contended most of the night, messed it up in the 4th quarter. They should beat Chicago tonight. No doubt in my mind. They need to win tonight. You know what I'm saying? Does Tom Thibodeau need to dip into the bench tonight? Yeah, because those starters played 40-plus minutes last night. So they're going to have some heavy legs. So, yeah, you need to rely on the bench more tonight. They just need to produce. Hopefully they'll produce. Let me get to this. Is going to be my last phone call of the night. All right, because I do have to run. Again, I will not be able to do a post game tonight, but I'll be back on tomorrow about the same time to talk about the bench, probably some more, and to talk about the Chicago game. My man Anthony Dunbar. What's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What's going on?
I'm chilling, man.
What's going on?
I'm good.
How's everything going?
I'm
Are
feeling good,
we
man.
are we in a state of panic with the Knicks with one loss?
Nah,
What's
man.
going on?
Nah, we're not in a state of panic, but I think people have been concerned for a while about the bench though, and how we improve the bench. I mean, I think the way to improve the bench is we have the players. It's just spreading out. They don't all have to be in the starting five. You know what I'm saying?
You know what, Sim? I was in agreement with you for going back and forth with it for a good minute. But every time I try and find a way to get Josh Hart on the bench, he's just too good.
He is, but he can
He's
still.
just too good. But he affects when things break down for the four, which is really not that much a glitch. He's always there.
Right. I agree.
You see what I'm saying?
I
He's
agree.
just always there. And I'm like, I feel you. Precious gives you some more height, but he doesn't give you all of that. He's not a one-man fast break.
He doesn't. But I guess my thing is, when you look at the first 5 minutes of the game, right? That starting five, I mean, you got Bridges, OG, Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns. They should still be able to dominate the first 5-6 minutes of the game. And then Josh Hart can come in. And you're going to be mixing the lineups up anyway. He still can get his 35 to 40 minutes a game, I think.
Like I said, I go back and forth with you with it. See, the thing for the Knicks is it's Mitch.
I feel you.
This is our problem because we could watch last night's game and we could, bicker this way or that way as far as how we thought they lost the game. For me, I thought they lost the game when they didn't give Cat the ball.
Yeah.
In the paint with his size advantage.
Without a doubt.
Right?
Two shots in the fourth quarter. You can't do that.
It's a defensive thing. They don't have that consistent defensive dude in the middle. And we're not asking for anything more than 10, 15 minutes of Mitch out of night.
Right.
At night.
Right.
That's where the problem is, because at times it's like, okay, anybody can come get a layup.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you.
See what I'm saying? But, tough game last night, but I would have definitely, it's in those moments, and I'm like, you have Cats that he has the advantage every night. What are we doing?
Especially last night. Because they had Jalen Williams guarding him. 6'8", 6'9", or whatever. He could not deal with Cat in the post. Cat could turn around and shoot over him at any point in time. I can't understand why Cat only gets 2 shots in the fourth quarter. I felt like Jalen Brunson kind of hijacked the offense in the fourth quarter.
And that's the part that's just them, the two of them, the two alphas, really still working out communications as far as where they like the ball, who don't like the ball, and Cat having to be a bit more demonstrative, like, yo, I need this ball.
Right.
This right here, you got 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" guys guarding me, and when they give me the ball, they collapse.
Yeah.
A couple of the times with Cat, he didn't make the normal pass that he would normally make. He kind of like aggressively went at it instead of reading the defense where the attack was going to come from. But still, they just completely went away from it. Like, this is what you have every night. Supposed to make them counter that. This is your advantage every night. This is nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I feel you. I feel you.
But anyway, sir, we'll get a win tonight.
We got to get this win tonight,
pleasure.
man. Well, what do you think about tonight's game? The Knicks lost to them, 124, 123 in the first game?
Yeah,
right?
Something like that.
Yeah, 123, 120. The Knicks were a different team. They're not the team that they are now. Much more chemistry now. Understand who they are a little bit more. But, the matchup with the Bulls, just might be a tough one for the Knicks. I don't know.
I mean, again, who do they have to deal with that big boy in the middle? It's kind of like when you don't want to bring out the weapon, then you got it.
Right.
When you have the upper hand, you understand what I'm saying? They and everyone else tends to, when Cat starts rolling. I'm Team Brunson crime family.
Yeah.
People done heard me say this a million
all
times.
day. Me too.
But,
all day.
But the advantage every night is not him. It's Cat.
Right. And last night when you had guys like Lou Dort, SGA, right, that can step out. I mean, they have good defensive guards to make it tough on Brunson. And it was tough on him all night. He shot 34% from the field or whatever it was, 9 for 23. Everybody else was above 50%. You got to give up the rock to those guys, especially Cat.
Because you don't need to start your offense always beyond the three.
The three, right.
You just don't.
Right.
See, it's those moments of fans who wasn't around then to now. It's like, this is where the game has really changed, because if you had your dominant big is not letting you 6'7", 6'8", 6'9". No, that's just not happening.
Right.
That is just not. Wings are not guarding centers. And then today you get away with it because you want to, 5 out, and I'm not even going to go there with all of that. But you can get. But when it's time for the nuts to meet the bolts, it's like, you got Cat. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Two, what? How many touches? How many in the fourth quarter? That's madness.
2 shots in the fourth quarter. He was 1 for 2.
Dude, that is madness.
That's crazy. Brunson took 9.
No, we got to work this out.
Yeah.
I don't care if no one else gets a shot. Cat got to get some shots against them.
Right. Cat got to shoot.
No.
Yeah. No
Just
doubt.
got to. He's a walking. I didn't even realize he was this good of a rebounder. He is a suction.
22 rebounds last night.
Like, you got to feed the big man. That's getting you. You got to. They got to work that out.
Yeah.
But anyway, sir.
Appreciate
Rock,
you, brother.
it's always a pleasure, my brother.
Always. Peace. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, the Knicks take on the Chicago Bulls. The Knicks lost to the Bulls. I think it was 123-124 back in November. Now, since then, I mean, the Knicks 24-11. The Bulls are 15-19. But the Knicks need to get this win tonight. Even though Derrick Rose's jersey is being retired, so on and so forth, the Knicks need to get a win tonight over the Chicago Bulls. Now, there's some people who don't care. Sean Richardson said, I don't care about a win against the Bulls tonight. The front office have to step in and check Thibodeau on the garbage he's doing. The Knicks won't beat any good teams with him as the coach. I disagree. They will beat good teams with him as the coach. And I don't think that's what this front office should do. That sets a bad precedent, in my opinion. A bad precedent. We seen Phil Jackson do that. Step in and say, Jeff Hornacek do this or Derek Fisher do that. It didn't work. That sets a bad precedent. You get the coach the player that he asks for, and you let the coach coach. And then you let the proof be in the pudding. If he doesn't get the job done, he doesn't get the job done. And then you go get a coach that's going to get your job done. But if you, as the front office, you're not coaches. You're not at practice every day or whenever practices are. You're not there for those type of things. I think that sets a bad precedent to do that. A bad one. You know what I mean? And it's not, if you do that, and then you expect to fire Tom Thibodeau and bring in a high-level coach, you're mistaken, because they're going to say, oh, no, you stepped in to tell Tom Thibodeau to do something, and now you want to hire me? Nah, because you're not going to step in and tell me that I have to do something with the way that I coach my team. Bad precedent to set. The 77 said, so Lauren from Cali was right that OKC plays the bench. Hey, you know what? They got players on the bench to play. Good players to play. He was right. They play the bench. Because they got good players to play. Impactful players to play. There's a difference between having impactful players and not having impactful players. I don't think we have impactful players, Killer B. I'm sorry. Deuce is impactful. That's why we've been talking about how do we improve the bench by putting Josh Hart there, right? That's our idea. That's our idea. Put Josh Hart there, you improve the bench. But I don't think the Knicks have the type of impactful players people think we do. You know what I mean? Kevin said, I need more minutes from Shaman. And I think we'll continue to see double-digit minutes. He played 14 minutes last night. He's 6 games in. Let's see if that continues to grow. And you said even if it's less for campaign, and that's what happened last night. Campaign 7 minutes, Shaman 14. I'm going to be happy to see Derrick Rose get his jersey retired in Chicago. You know what I mean? I think that's that's always a positive thing. I got a lot of respect for Derrick Rose. His high school is my name or my namesake or whatever you want to say. He went to Simeon High School. My name is Simeon. One of these days I'm going to get a Simeon High School jersey with Derrick Rose Simeon High School jersey. So I got all the respect. When he was with the Knicks, he was my favorite player. I got all the respect in the world for Derrick Rose. This is great for him, but the Knicks need to win tonight. Start the streak over. Leave out of here 25-11. Listen, the Knicks have the pieces to handle Zach LaVine. They have the pieces to handle, Nikola Vucevic is giving you 20 and 10. You know what I mean? Karl Anthony Towns, he's going to go to work tonight. We need to have a defensive scheme to try to, shut down Vucevic a little bit if we can. They got a nice inside presence. He's also an outside presence. But I think Karl Anthony Towns will be okay. If anything, Karl Anthony Towns will outplay him. Kobe White, I think, got loose on us last game. He had one of those games against us. We can't let that happen again. No diss to Kobe White. He's a good basketball player. He's averaging 18 points per game. Keep him at his average. You know what I mean? I think the Knicks showed in spurts last night that they can play a high level of defense. A team like OKC is, they got a lot of options, as you know, and they can go in spurts. They can start to light it up. Obviously, they're a really good defensive team too. We've shown that we can score against a really good defensive team. Yeah, we ended up only scoring 107 last night, but for most of the game, we were dominating as far as scoring the ball because we were getting the ball to the right places. We lost our way in the fourth quarter. Tonight, whatever our game plan is, come in, execute, get the ball to the right people. If Brunson is hot, do your thing. If you're not hot, make sure Bridges, OG, Karl Anthony Towns gets the ball in the spots where they can score the best. Right now, Mikal Bridges is burning up. Get that man the ball and consistently feed him. Get that man the ball. The Warden is hot. The Warden is balling. You know what I'm saying? He's balling. Get the ball to the people that need the basketball. That's that's what we've got to do tonight. We can beat this team easy, in my opinion. First time we played them, we were figuring things out. I think we're better than this basketball team. We just got to make the right decisions with the ball. We just got to make the right decisions in crunch time, because that's when we faltered last night down the stretch of the basketball game. Brunson hijacked the game, man. He hijacked the offense, not the game, the offense. Jason, thank you for the super chat. He said, what could be wrong with playing Kolek, Dadier, and Huck a few minutes? Maybe not last night, but maybe a game like tonight. Bench got to play a little. I agree. Tonight, they should play some. You know what I mean? Last night, no. They wasn't ready for that. Kolek, Dadier, Huck, they wasn't ready for that last night. Probably not. Let's say that. You never know when someone's going to have a game, but probably not. But tonight, they've got to play some. Those guys played 40 minutes last night, each, the starters, and then traveling to Chicago, for a game against a team that, went down to the wire the last time you played them. So, yeah, we definitely need to use that bench a little bit more tonight. You know what I mean? And, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Again, I won't be on tonight. After the game, I won't be on tonight after the game, but I'll be back on tomorrow around this same time. And, we'll talk about the game. We'll break down some other things and yeah, be good. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. I'm up out of here, and I'm not skiing. I promise you that. It's just cold as hell. And I'm not inside. I mean, I'm inside, but I'm in like a gas station. It just looks good behind me. You know what I mean? I'm actually in a Delta Sonic. I just got my car washed and everything. Mad salt on it. I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.